This is called A Literary Courtship, and it's by Anna Fuller. It's a book from 1893. It's the first edition, so I looked up there. It's a beautiful little book, and it's about these two guys. They're best friends. They go to like men's clubs and whatever, so they're manly men of a literary persuasion. And so the one guy, they have like a kind of argument where they can't decide if they basically say a female writer can be taken more seriously with a literary work than a male writer, but they notice that a lot of female authors use male names. So it's like, I'm probably getting the original argument wrong, but one of the guys takes this very seriously, writes a book, and he's already written books, but he's writing it under a name, Lillian Lamb. There's a middle name, Lillian Leslie Lamb. I think the middle name's Leslie. And he publishes it. It goes into all these different editions, and it's called Spoils, and it's brilliant, and everyone raves about it and all this stuff. And it turns out the name that he picked is actually the name of a young woman who lives in a different state, and they get into a back and forth with discussing literary stuff and how to publish works, and she sends them some stuff, a book of poetry, and it gets published it's published under a pseudonym. And the whole time these guys are like, I bet she's actually writing the work, and so they go out to visit her in Colorado from New York, and so and that takes up the bulk of the book. Actually, there's a lot of pictures in this book in particular of Pike's Peak. So I guess the whole title is A Literary Courtship of Pike's Peak. I don't have the full title here because it was on Goodreads. I don't remember the whole thing, but there's a lot of pictures of Pike's Peak in here and all that stuff, and it's quite a beautiful book. It was a lovely find. Unfortunately, the bookstore I got it from is no longer in operation, so that's very sad. But it's a beautiful little book. I actually really enjoyed it. It's sort of like a nice little meet cute, if we use what the cool kids these days say. And yeah, I do recommend reading it, even if you don't get this edition. I don't know how many of this edition there is. It's a first edition. I'm actually not sure, because this was written 1893 is when it was published, so I don't know if they put a bunch of the chapters in a magazine first, or I'm not sure how they were printing it back then. But I'm very happy with my little book. It's almost the perfect size, so pretty. Yeah, so I'm very happy with that. Yeah. A Map to the Sun. This is a graphic novel that I saw on the shelf of the library, and I grabbed it because I'm not at all the audience it was aimed towards. It's young adult. It's a graphic novel. It's so beautiful. Some serious stuff going on in this book. It's about 5 teenage girls, and they join a basketball team. They're all having a lot of their own issues. They have family issues, a lot of them. Some of them are missing parents. Some of them, one girl is chubby, shall we say? Yeah, we'll say chubby. That's a cute word. And one girl has her sister has a lot of issues. That's actually the girl on the cover, Reine. And another girl is sleeping with the other coach of the boys basketball team. And then one girl is cutting her legs. Like, it's serious stuff. But they come together and form a basketball team, and they're decently happy with their friendships, at least. It is a beautiful book, like, visually. I think the art is very good. I love that they cover every inch of the pages. And I've never heard of this author before, so that's... And she does actually have a lot of these different ethnicities in her work, too. It was... one was Hawaiian, the other one was Chinese. She was really tall, and that's why she got on the basketball team. One is Native American. Two or more of them are black, I think. They like let you in on it, but they didn't totally spell it out, but I could just not know because it was just so colorful. There were some points where the only difference between them was their hairstyle. So if they looked a little off, it was like, I'm not sure who that is. But other than that, it's a very good book. It's sort of like a Disney movie if they showed very dark issues with teenagers. But yeah, it's beautiful. I wouldn't mind buying this just to put on my shelf, because just look at that, so bright. But don't let that fool you. There's dark stuff in there. But totally recommend. 4 out of 5. So this is the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, and it's a beautiful little book. I didn't know anything about this author. He has like an entire blog and YouTube channel, hundreds of thousands of views. Never heard of him. She just says how big everything has gotten online. And I bought this because I saw it on Amazon, and I was like, I must own this book. It's so pretty. And thankfully, it's very good. He makes up all these words, but they're all based on actual words, and some of them, like Sonder, has become a part of the lexicon, so that's very exciting. And I thought I had finished it a while ago, but no, I had like this like here left, and I was like, really, past me? Really? You couldn't find a few minutes to finish that? And so, but now it is finished, and it's beautiful. It even has illustrations and collages in it, and it's, it's calming. It's, puts words to feelings you have, but you don't know how to describe them. So it's kind of great, and yeah, but yeah, I totally recommend it. It's a beautiful book, not very long to read. It is one of those books that you can pick up, read randomly, and then put back, and then pick it up again, and you won't like lose your way or anything, because it is a dictionary. It's just with words that aren't part of the lexicon yet. I bet they will be. But yeah, look how shiny it is. Pretty. Yeah. So this is Poems of the Irish People. It's thought it was good to read this because it's March, which means it's Green Month. And I'm Irish, so it works. It's a very good book. It has the, I'm pretty sure this is like poetry that most Irish people already know, so it's like, yeah, of course, that's the general gist of everything. And I kind of wish I knew more about their stuff, because some of it was like, yeah, this sounds great. I have no idea what's going on. But it was very pretty. It's separated to 3 categories: the land, the lore, and the people. And from what I got from it, the land is beautiful, but very green. I noticed they don't mention anything about it being damp or cold. Wonder why that is. The lore is the stuff of nightmares, and the people are very sad, hungry, and they really hate the British. Which are all things I already knew. These bookend pages are beautiful. But yeah, it's an adorable little book. I do recommend it. Barnes & Noble probably has it for sale right now, because it's March. But yeah, it's a cute little book. Glad I read it. Oh, right, I forgot to show the back. This is beautiful. This stuff, beautiful. Yeah, I love the aesthetic. And it is kind of funny, because it's like, I'm reading, I'm like, oh, Tolkien, you thief. But he probably, it's just in all the stuff that he reads, so. But yeah, it's like, none of the names or anything were similar, but like, they had every poetry style in here, by the way. It was interesting. Yeah, but yeah, you can tell where he got some of his ideas from, and so that was pretty cool. So that was fun. Totally recommend. So this is I believe the 24th book I finished this year. It's called Zell, and it's by Donna Jo Napoli. If you're interested in retellings of old fairy tales, she does quite a few. I can recommend her Siren, or is it Serena? Serena. It's about a siren falls in love with a dude, normal human dude, and Smile, which is about the woman behind the Mona Lisa. So not Da Vinci, just like her story. And I won't say they're dark versions, because fairy tales can be pretty dark themselves. But I will say it's more historically accurate. She's so Rapunzel. They call her Zell for short because it's cute. It actually took me a moment to realize, I know she rewrites fairy tales. Which one is she? Which one is she? I wonder. And so that was kind of funny. But I actually really like this one. It's a quick read. It only took me a couple of hours. So I think it's classified as young adult, but I don't mind genres. And I like they gave each of the chapters a little, little decoration for the first letter. And it tells the story from 3 different points of view. The witch, who was nicknamed Mother, she really, really wanted a daughter. And so she stole one from people who were stealing her Rapunzel lettuce. And so that's how she got her name. And then it's from Rapunzel's point of view. She turns 13 and she meets a guy and develops a crush on him. And it's set in the 1500s in Switzerland. And then the third person is Count Conrad, who falls in love with her, tries to find her. Her mom puts her in a tower. You know the story. It's basically the fairy tale retold. It's not too much is added to it, but I still think it was very good. I love how soft these old paperbacks are. It feels so nice. But yeah, I still recommend it. I'd say 4 out of 5. I whipped through it pretty quickly, so totally recommend. I finished the entire series finally. As you can see, Grindhouse and Dog Days. Grindhouse is actually, I think it's in this one and this one, I think. But it's okay, I like the comic book. The cover's quite something. But, and Dog Days, of course, this story got 5 out of 5 because it features a corgi. How could I not? And, I know these 3, I think this one was the best, because of the last story. They literally go into hell. And it's in the Neil Gaiman's Dream series kind of hell. So that was interesting. Did they deliberately make Satan look like the 90s version of David Bowie? Because it looks like they did. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. But yeah, I was just in love with that story. It was so great. Look at this picture. This picture is everything. I love that. It's amazing. But yeah, so it's a great series. I love all the different families. I would have loved more stories actually about the other families, but I'm sure Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez and Fotos would prefer to just move on to other projects. I'm sure it's taken up quite a lot of their own time to do all this. But it is a really great story. I love this cover. Look how good this cover is. But anyway, just wanted to share that I finished these and that they're really good. If you didn't like the other story, the main story, the reason this kicked off in the first place, you might enjoy these more. It's very different. It obviously features the house and all the keys and stuff, but it's very different. Very different tone going on there. But very fun, very cool. I very much enjoyed it. Love you guys. Thank you. Queen of Hearts by Colleen Oakes. It's a beautiful cover. Love the design. All 3 of the books look great. Should have been a quick read, but I don't know. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I was hoping. And, yeah, I don't know. It's, not for me. I know it's for young adult, but I would suggest an older young adult, maybe. It's, I can't guess which age the person should be when they're reading this. It seems there's parts of it that are like, I don't know. It's, I get what the author's trying to do. I just couldn't get into it. But it's a trilogy. It's obviously from Alice Wonderland's story. This is from Dinah, the Queen of Hearts. Point of view from when she's a kid, teenager, 16. She's, figuring out love, and it's, yeah. She's, people are mean to her. Her own court is mean to her, especially her dad. It feels like I'm really supposed to feel for her, and I do, but it's just so awkward. I don't know what I don't like about it, but it's just having trouble staying into it. So I'm gonna abandon it. Maybe I'll pick it up later, but yeah, I'll just DNF. 。 This is How to Find Love in a Bookshop by Veronica Henry. It takes place in Britain, and it's about a bookshop called Nightingale Books. It's owned by the main character's father, who just passes away, and she takes it over. There's an evil businessman who wants to take it so he can make flats, make money, and all that stuff. And there's a bunch of people who I assume are gonna fall in love, even if there's like age discrepancies and whatnot. And it was cute at first. I thought I'd try it, because sometimes not to say it's just fluff, but like, I kind of consider romance not my usual reading material, so I'm just not into romance. It is cute. I want to say I got maybe a third of the way through, so it's a decent read if you're into that. Book cover's kind of cute, yeah, just DNF, did not finish. So, yes, I'm in a different environment. I'm staying over at someone else's house, and they are letting me film my review for this book. Oh, Alex. I don't know how to pronounce your last name, otherwise I would be saying Mr. I'll just say Mr. Alex. I wanted to like this book so much, because it sounded so good. It's about a woman named Mariana, who her husband died recently, about 14 months ago. She's still grieving pretty hard over him. And in the meantime, her niece's friend gets murdered, and it looks like a creepy professor is involved. And that's the American, because of course it's a foreign guy at Cambridge, Edward Fosca, and it's, gosh, I'm never reading his work again. I know these were both very popular. They're very quick reads. I got to about page 81, which is a decent amount of pages. The chapters are very short. It's pretty easy to follow, but there's a lot of red herrings. Literally every guy Mariana meets is a creep and or stalking her, which only one of them's stalking her, but they're all creepy. The professor she suspects murdered the girl has a intellectual harem following behind him. They're gorgeous women in white dresses, and that's the part that really bugged me, because Mariana, she's a very flawed character. She's still grieving. She's also a group psychotherapist. She doesn't seem that good at her job, because one of her clients is his mental state is deteriorating. He's hurt himself very badly, and he's also stalking her, which she should have called the police right away, for both of those reasons. She didn't even lock the door after she made him leave, which, just so much wrong with that part. But also, I know colleges and universities can be pretty insular, but nobody pulled this guy aside and was like, hey, those women who are following behind you and wearing the same type of dress, could you knock that shit off? It was so much wrong with it. And then, the police officer was rude to her, which is very different from other guys who apparently just, think she's the hottest half-Greek person they've ever seen, and and she might as well be cardboard, this woman. But I think if he had written this differently, where it's a group therapist. She or he could have been a dude. He's honestly probably better writing dudes. And if she had, or he had been involved with trying to help these people, like the victims and family of the murdered one, and staying mostly out of the murder investigations, and he had like a suspicion on one of the professors because he was a little bit of an asshole, like, that would have been fine. In fact, that would have been a more interesting read. And other people have written much more interesting, insightful reviews, which after I got to page 81, I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? Why don't I like this? And I read the reviews and I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. And I didn't even get through the whole book and they figured this out. But it's, yeah, I'm sorry, Alex. I don't think I'm ever reading your stuff again. And I think that's the same reason I put down The Silent Patient, which I forgot he wrote, even though it's literally on the cover right here. I kind of ignore those, because I don't care about the previous work. I'm more interested in this one. And, I also read reviews that said, like, I think that this is about a therapist who, isn't very good at her job, and so I read that there were quite a few problems with the therapy and how everything went, so I put that book down as well. So fortunately, I was really looking forward to this. The cover is great. I like that it's at an old university. I like that there's like a group, and one of the group died. It always makes things interesting. Literally, you're just watching the group fall apart because they lost their punching bag, or, murder's kind of a heavy thing. So people are gonna be disorganized and everything, and seeing it not from an investigator or police or the murderer's point of view, and instead like someone who is trying to help the other people, that would have been so cool. But nope, I'm gonna have to write that one myself, but probably can't, so I don't have the right stuff. That's a lot of research I'm too lazy to do. But maybe one day. But, anyway, yeah, I don't like that one. House of Hollow by Krystal Sutherland. I absolutely loved this book. And, basically the story is, Iris and her two sisters, Vivi and Gray, go missing for a month, and they come back, and their parents are at first elated, but they're very different when they come back. They have their baby teeth when their real teeth had started to grow in. Their hair turns white, their eyes are almost completely black. This cover doesn't quite do that here. It does get the flowers right. But, it's, they can make people do things. I kind of loved it. I loved, like, her sister is a fashion designer now, and I was like, oh, they're all, like, cottage core would be all over her clothes. She has, like, this strange perfume, and she's a model, and she's gorgeous, and her fashion house is like filled with strange flower designs, and they're it's all wonderful. Vivi, of course, is a rock star. I actually really liked her, and I loved this book. I loved what it did, the old legend of changelings, and all that. I'm gonna look up where this is. When did this? 2021. Okay, yeah, so it's been out for 2 years. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was amazing. It was so beautiful. I love the little illustrations with the chapters. There it is. It's so pretty. And I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't know if I'll read her other works, but I loved this one. I'm so happy to own this one. I don't know why it took me so long to finish it. I had started it last year and then just stopped. No good reason, but read I think almost all the way through in only 2 sittings. So yeah, and this quote right here is perfect. Haunting modern fairy tale. Like, yep. So I do highly recommend it. Wish they'd make a movie just to see the clothes and stuff. Oh, and it takes place in England, because why the hell would it take place in anywhere else? But yeah, highly recommend it. It's lovely, very sad at times, but yeah, I highly enjoyed it. So this is Lady Mechanika, Volume 7. Came out a few months ago, and I didn't know, so but I finally have it. It's about Lady Mechanika and her early years with this crazy doctor, and it's very sad. I feel quite sad for her. I mean, I knew she had a bad childhood because I don't know how she got caught, but she got caught by these people who she still doesn't know, and they cut off her real arms and legs and replaced them with these metal ones, and they're like attached to her somehow. So they're like, they react just like her real limbs would. It did make her like this powerful, almost superhero in a way. Because she does like, she's like a bounty hunter and also a bodyguard, and she leads people through stuff. She's very interesting like that, and I have liked the series so far. I think Sangre was maybe the weakest one so far, but I like this one a lot. We finally got part of her background, and yeah, it's and still the artwork is beautiful. The story is quite sad, but she yeah, it's very interesting. I always thought it was beautifully drawn. Also, she's got red eyes, so and like what's usually the white part of the eye is black, and she doesn't know how they did that, and no one seems to know, but it's yeah, it's quite the mystery. I like all the other stories as well. Most of these are like her solving mysteries and murders and stuff, and yeah, she's quite badass. I like her a lot. Yeah, this is a fun story. Recommend it. I mean, at this point I'm at volume 7, so I've committed. But if you're new to it, you can check it out. I found it because I really like steampunk, and this was one of the things they recommended. And, yeah, love the story more or less ever since. So I found Marie Antoinette manga by Fuyumi Soryo, and I knew I recognized that name because he did the Mars manga, which I did read, I think, all the way up to volume 6, and then after that I was like, I can't stay committed to this, I don't know when it's gonna end. And, but it's beautiful. And so, of course, he did Marie Antoinette, and I love it, and it's beautiful, but it's in French, which I can't read. I mean, I went through, and I pretty much knew what they were saying to each other, because, I know Marie Antoinette's life, and mostly her relationship, or as well as I can from being like the person who got all of her information from historians that were either not of the time period or wrote it well after she was executed. And just look at these little end papers, they're so pretty. Or not, it's like the flap on the cover here, the dust jacket, but it's so pretty. Also, I do still recommend this book because it has these pictures of Versailles and these beautiful paintings, and just the artwork alone in this book, it's worth every penny, even though I don't know what anyone is saying. I do like how they made King Louis, because that's King Louis, it's not the Swedish guy. King Louis hot, which is nice for Louis. He's usually a little dumpling, which is realistic because that's what he looked like. But yeah, it's nice that they made him hot for I guess for the manga and for her. But just look at these details, they're so beautiful. And it's almost like they went over a photograph instead of, which they could have done. I wouldn't blame them. I'm sure that would have made it much easier. Like how she's pictured with a harp back there. And just look at this. It's so beautiful. And so I loved every frame of this. Yeah, it's just, oh, that picture's gorgeous. Could you imagine it full color? That would be amazing. But yeah, it's quite a beautiful story. It doesn't go into the revolution. It's obviously not long enough to do that. It goes into their relationship as king and queen, and they're willing to stand by each other. And that's basically what I got from it, because for eternity, that's must be about, them being together for eternity, or their families and love being for eternity, which fortunately did not happen, but she was remembered. Maybe that's what they mean. See, this is why I couldn't read it. I don't quite know the French translation. Maybe if I get crazy enough, I'll actually put every word into Google Translate and hope for the best. But yeah, I totally recommend this. The only bad thing about this book, I'm not sure why they made the cover black and white. It's still gorgeous. It looks almost like a painting from that time period, but it's not quite as gorgeous as the Just Jacket. But yeah, that's the only problem I had with it. That, and it's in French, but maybe I should just learn French. But yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. So obviously I'm in the middle of something here, but don't worry about it. I'm just going to talk about this book quickly. I started it a while ago. It's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. Someone had recommended it on one of those YouTube videos about mental health, and it sounded good. Over 16 million copies sold, and thought it was okay. It's I I mean, he's coming from, like, the very worst thing you can go through. He's, he was a victim of the concentration camps, and so, in a way, I can't really relate. Although in the last section, he does talk about how Americans put such an emphasis on being happy that when we're not, we sort of feel bad for it and it makes everything worse. So that part was interesting. It wasn't quite what I was looking for, but yeah, I don't know who I'd recommend this to. I mean, maybe someone else will find more out of it than I did, but yeah. Don't mind the mess. I'm just in the middle of something. This is the Grimrose Girls by Laura Pohl. Of course, it's part of a trilogy. Why is everything a trilogy? But it is very interesting. Finished it. It's very good. I think the next one, I know the next one is green, and that's our teal. And but it's very good. It's about these girls. They go to a school, and for some reason, girls get murdered there in the unhappy versions of their fairy tales, and they're trying to solve it and try to keep themselves from being killed. And of course, the main characters that we have, there's Ella, who is Cinderella, Yuki, who is Snow White, Rory, who is Aurora, and then Nani, who is from Hawaii but is supposed to be Beauty and the Beast. Beauty. Belle. That's the one. And it's very good. It's a very quick read, or at least I thought it was. Its print is pretty big, but it's very good. You get it from multiple points of view. Each chapter has their name on it. And you get into their backstory and all that. And you see the school, which is a castle, which sounds very cool. Probably cold, though. And I'm going to read the next one. I was thinking, I got to about here and I was like, I don't know if I'll read the second one. Then I got to the end and that cliffhanger was like, okay, fine. I'm really curious now. I guess I'll go find it. I forgot what the title is. It's on Goodreads, though. I'll get that one at the library, too, as you can tell. This is from the local library. But I do recommend it. If you're in YA and you like those fairy tale retellings, totally recommend. Yeah. So this is The Mistletoe Murder by P.D. James and Other Stories. It's a short little book. I saw the spine and the cover and I was like, I'm totally bringing that home. It wasn't bad. It's about murder mysteries. The first story was really good, and that's of course The Mistletoe Murder, and it takes place during Christmas, so maybe I read this. They all take place during the winter season by Christmas time, so I probably read this at the wrong time of the year, but yeah, I don't care. But it's the first one was really good. It was from the point of view of I guess it was the author putting herself in a character, because the character was supposed to be a murder mystery writer, and she's at a place where an unsavory gentleman gets whacked, and she solves it when the police don't, or unwilling to, I should say, because it seems rather obvious when you look at it. And then the other three are more about, well, the second one, it was like one of those clever stories where guy is hired to kill a cheating woman, and but her lover gets blamed for it and he dies. He's executed, and I was just like, okay. And the last two were about the character that James is known for, and that was the Degliash, British clever
detective. I wonder who he's based off of, because it's almost the same time period and everything. And he's alright, but he's no Sherlock Holmes. But maybe the stories didn't give enough time for me to, I don't know, care. So that was decent. I'm doing all these book reviews like right now because I'm right next to the library. So if you're wondering, why is this happening? That's why. This is Leech by Hiram Ains. Sorry if I said that wrong. I had it for quite a while, and it's all the things I should have liked, Wuthering Heights, although I've never actually read Wuthering Heights. I like the time frame. And it's science, and some people say there's body horror in it, and I mean, in a medical sense, sure, but I wouldn't call that body horror. That's just the guy investigating. So, but anyway, it's about this person who is part of a group of medical scientists, and they're all joined together with this one organism that basically they're attached, like hundreds of minds are attached together, and it's to the point where they've been around so long that people just pay for the medical help they receive with like their own kids and stuff, and then they become a part of it because they're given a shot or whatever. And I had some problems with it. I got literally almost halfway through, and I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to be able to finish this. And I don't think it was the book, because it's all the things I usually like. I wouldn't even say the writing is that flowery or anything. It was just, I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. I did have some problems with it. It seems weird to me that the main character, like, she's still that organism that has been around for, I don't know, must be at least a couple hundred years now. And, like, because they've lived several lives and everything. And this thing couldn't, like, it got disconnected, and it was like, I can't do anything. And I was like, you should be fine. And I don't know, it just bothered me so much. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of saw what they were doing with the other characters. Like, it's spoiler, it's too late. Like, a bunch of people are already infected with this thing, and because basically competition shows up, another thing that could do the same stuff their organism can do, can take over as soon as it becomes less cold out, because they're up north, they're locked away in this one place that's freezing cold. So if you're outside literally for more than a couple hours, you just like lose fingers and stuff. So it's I don't know. I couldn't get into it. And I was a bit annoyed because I was like, I know which of these characters is doing it. It sounds like this character, so it must be this one. And it's already too late, and this person needs to be in like survivor mode, and she's being slow on the uptake for some reason, and it's bugging the hell out of me. And I just couldn't finish it. So back to the library that goes. Kill Creek. This was great. I saw it on the library website, and I was like, Kill Creek, that sounds promising. I was looking for, like, I guess the slasher movie equivalent of a book. It wasn't that, but it was very interesting. The ending was a bit like that. It's a horror book, so about a creepy old house. It's there's stories about it. These 4 horror authors go back there to bring about their career again, and it becomes like this viral sensation online, and then all hell breaks loose. And it's very good. Highly recommend it. And then I finished these two, the Watsons. It's unfinished, which is a shame, because I would have loved the main character to have gotten together with that annoying rich guy and kind of rubbed her siblings' awful faces in it. And they were awful, but she's nice, so it would have had to been like subtle. But yeah, it's very good. It's Austen. She's great. So there's that. And this is Selling 101 by Zig Ziglar. It was good. It did what it said. I would say this is a very good book if you want like a good general overview on how to up your selling abilities. I mean, if you're in business or sales or whatever, you've probably heard of this guy. He's kind of got 40 books or something. But yeah, if you want a short and sweet, kind of to the point book, totally recommend getting this one. So there's that. Now I'm going to drop everything off now.
Okay, so the last book I've read for March is episode 13. What it's about is it's a TV show called Fade to Black, and there's Matt and Claire Kirkland. Claire is a physicist and a scientist, and she debunks a lot of the ghost hunting that they do. There's also Kevin, who does the audio stuff. He's an ex-cop and a bit of a jackass, because he's like tough guy, but he's not actually a tough guy kind of thing. There's Jake, who holds the camera, and then there's Jessica, the one that was hired. She's an actress trying to take care of her son. She thinks this will be her big break. And Jessica isn't her real name, it's her stage name. And basically they go to this one house called Foundation House, and it was where some experiments took place that were scientific, but also they were trying to capture what happens after you die. And they go there, and all hell breaks loose, because it's nothing like they expected. And because Claire's like, this means everything we know is wrong, and so she's like crazy about it now. And it's written like with journal entries and interviews and like transcripts from the show, and I sort of kind of find it a nice callback to Dracula, because that's all journal entries and letters and newspaper articles. So I liked that part of it, and I read this in one sitting. I couldn't stop reading it. It was so good. I saw other people kind of have issues with the ending and stuff. I could see where they were coming from, but I'm still gonna give it 5 stars. Totally recommend it, 100%. Also, this cover is amazing. I love the film crap that they have on the side here, and the ghostly figures, and the dramatic window. It's very cool. I've never read his work before. Apparently he won the Bram Stoker Award, so that's cool. And yeah, I'll probably look into more of his work, especially the one about the children of Red Peak. They're like children who die and become vampires, and then the parents have to decide how long they keep them around for. And it's yeah, so that sounds very interesting, right up my alley here. So yeah, totally recommend. also read the first 5 volumes of my Sailor Moon Pretty Guardian series. I don't have much to say about it because I've loved Sailor Moon since I first spotted her as a child. So, and this is like because they used to have Tokyo Pop, which doesn't exist anymore. And they had those old books, but they weren't made very well. So I still have all of mine. I even went out and got all the ones I was missing. But I can't really, I can't even flip through them like this. I can flip through. But those I can't because the spine will break and the pages will fall out. So not very well made, but I'm gonna keep them just for the hell of it, I guess. And yeah, these books are very good though. They're very well made. I think they'll last a while. I think they're hard to come by now a little bit. But yeah, I love the covers. I know they have those really big ones, but I don't think I'll ever get that because I feel like I'll just mess it up because I'll want to read it. But it's such a big cover and it's so beautiful. It's just gonna get messed up if I get it. So I probably won't get those. But yeah, so first 5 of those. And then I want to go over my reading journal as it is. All my books. I started separating them with marker now. So this is January. I only read 5 books, started a 6th one, and still haven't finished it. I will get to it. I swear I will get to it. And then February I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 books in February, and for March, 3, 4 with Leech, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 books in March. I don't think I'll ever be able to top that number the rest of the year because that was a lot. And I did read 5 manga books, which tends to go quicker, and then a few of the comic books, which also tend to go quicker, especially if you don't look at the pictures, which I do. But still, though, that's like 20 books in March, even without this, because I was like about 10 of them. And that's pretty good. I don't think I've ever read that many in a month before. Then, of course, I have March. I only missed the 31st I did read, so I'll have to mark that. But I only missed the 23rd, and we're getting into April now, so that's fun. And of course, I wrote all the Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon in here because I totally thought I was going to just go through the whole series, but I didn't. But I will next month, so it doesn't matter. So in this case, I think I've pretty much read the 50 goal that I have. That I had set for myself this year. I don't know if I'll change it because I know it's only March, so there is a chance I could keep thinking I could double it and get to 100, but I don't know if that would be too much with how the rest of the year will probably go. So there's that. If you want to keep following for my short reviews and of books that I read, and also just like what you see, feel free to like and subscribe. Love to see you around, and thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.